Hello everybody, welcome to episode 48 of Show Viewer. Today we'll be going over the finale of One Piece live action season 2, Dear and Loathing in Drum Kingdom. So that's the title. And this episode was a great finale. Like I said, I don't really enjoy the Drum Kingdom as much as I probably should as a big One Piece fan. It's just, I just can't get it. I can't get the hype behind the Drum Kingdom art. But the live action, like I said in the previous video, has really made me enjoy it more than I did previously. So, to start off with, we see as what we really pick off where the last episode left off, where Dalton is attacked by Wapple's henchman, and he's brought before Wapple, and they're kind of discussing and all that, and eventually he goes to attack Wapple, and we get to see him turn into his man-beast form. And it was really cool because I didn't know how good Dalton's man-beast form was going to look, since Chopper's was kind of iffy in my opinion, but Dalton's looks very good, because he has the bull devil fruit where he can turn into a bull. And we see like a brief fight between them, but ultimately Dalton is beaten, but he is able to get away, and he limps off away. And so as we are just slowly building up, eventually Wapple ends up going to the top of this area in Drum Kingdom where the palace is, after releasing a bunch of minions, because we actually see that he ate the royal guard after he left Drum Kingdom, and after getting his devil fruit. So now what he can do is he has the Munch fruit, and the Munch fruit allows you to eat stuff and then reproduce those things whenever you feel like. So he can do like cannon, he can do anything. He does cannons, people, and if you eat like a certain tool, if you eat the tool, you can turn your arms into that tool. So like he eats like a halberd at one point, and his arm turns into a halberd. So after this, Dalton, like I said, he limps into town and all that, and up top, they are aware that Wapple has landed in Drum Kingdom, so Correa's like, alright, we gotta leave, we gotta go, and Chopper's like, I'm not leaving, I'm staying here, and I'm protecting Nami. Well, Correa's like, it's your funeral, so she ends up going down, and ultimately, she escapes and runs into Dalton on the way in, and she's like, you idiot for just actually going against Wapple when he knew Wapple was very powerful, but, so Correa actually does end up healing him, and they both end up going into town. Now we see as once in town, everyone's preparing for the attack. We see as all the townspeople come out and they're ready to fight, and we see as the henchmen, which are the previous royal guard that Wapple released from his gut, come out into the town. And we just kind of see that first couple of bouts, and we see that they are very powerful, and like even Zoro struggling and Usopp struggling too. So and then we kind of swap back to the main fight up top on the top of the area in Drum Kingdom. So we see as Wapple comes in with his two henchmen, and his two henchmen are left to face Sanji and Chopper, and Luffy and Vivi are left to face Wapple. So in the fight between the henchmen and and Sanji and Chopper, I actually really enjoyed this fight. This fight was really good. And we see as Chopper uses man-beast form to fight these people. And in this episode, I don't know if they tweaked it or anything, but his man-beast form looks better than it did in the previous one. Like, I don't know what it is, but they might not change anything, but it just looks better now. Like, and I'm glad about that, because I knew that it was going to be very present in the Alabasta arc when we get in season 3. Because, that's what Chopper predominantly is in throughout the entirety of the Alabasta arc, is his man-beast form. And I knew it was going to kind of suck to see more of it if it was looking like it was then. But now that it's changed a little bit, or it may not have changed at all, maybe it's just grown on me. But now it looks a lot better in my opinion. But, so we see as Sanji and Chopper end up fighting, and we ultimately see as they're kind of struggling with it, and eventually they kind of get put on their back leg, and Sanji ends up getting stuck to the ground by one of the henchmen's abilities. I don't know if it's devil fruit, but his hair can make very strong static electricity, and he got stuck to the floor. So we see as him and Chopper kind of work around this together, and they use a very creative way of Chopper jumping in the air and letting the dude's flaming arrow hit it and burn it off, and then we see them prepared and all that to attack. And it was a really good fight. I really enjoyed that fight. The choreography was phenomenal. We see Sanji get to hit his top spinning attack, and it was just really cool to see. And also, before this fight, I forgot to mention this. So, before this fight, we just kind of get a brief moment of Sanji talking with Nami before everyone comes in and invades the castle. And he's just kind of talking with her and explaining to her his past about why he started cooking and how it was for his mother and all that back then. Back when his mother was actually alive, because she was a sickly woman, and he made her lunch every day, even though he did poorly at it to begin with. He slowly grew better and better, and he kept giving her the food. And he explains how every time he cooks, it's because of his mother. I have no clue how they've done such a phenomenal job at restructuring the Sanji agenda, because I actually felt more sad for Sanji there than I did watching his entire backstory in Whole Cake. I don't know what it is. I cannot feel sympathy for Sanji. I believe that's how he acts. Like, after Fishman Island and all that crap, I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot stand Sanji anymore. Because, like, Sanji, before pre-time skip, he was chivalrous. He wasn't just a pervert. And then after time skip, he's just perverted. And it's just, I don't know. Like, yeah, I legit felt more sadness for Sanji in that scene in the live action than I did for him throughout the entirety of Whole Cake. Like, I just got tired of his backstory. I was like, buddy, blah, 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 blah. Even though it's very tragic, like, it's got to be one of the saddest. Like, it's got to be up there with Law and Kuma. But, yeah. That's the thing. I just cannot stand Sanji in the anime. He's gotten better recently because, like, he's not as perverted like Elbath. Egghead isn't too bad because at least the manga, he's not a pedophile. But in the anime, that's questionable. But yeah, so we just see them talking, and that was just a very enjoyable scene. Now back to where we were. But yeah, Chopper and Sanji actually end up beating the henchmen, and then we get more of Vivi and Luffy versus Wapol. Now, in this fight, we get to see Wapol use his abilities, and we get to see him, like, eat tools. Well, he doesn't actually eat tools there, but he uses tools. And he uses like a saw and all that. And we see he's fighting Luffy, and Luffy's not really kind of taking it seriously for the first part, even though Wapol is trying to kill him. Wapol gets a little butthurt about that. But yeah, we see them fighting and all that, and eventually it gets more and more serious, and Luffy actually ends up fighting. And while they're fighting, we eventually get to one point where Luffy had Wapol opens his big mouth ability to release a cannon out, and Luffy is able to grab it and shut it, and Vivi helps him out pulling him back, and then eventually we get to another point where Luffy's on the back leg, and Vivi ends up saving him by using her little I don't really know how to explain them, but little tools on strings to hold back Wapol's arm so he can't cut into Luffy with his blade. And eventually we see as Wapol attempts to threaten the flag. So in the anime, the flag is actually up top the castle for Drum Kingdom, and Luffy is up there holding it. It's one of the most aura moments ever. It is phenomenal. It's on par with when he goes to Gear 2, because that's just straight aura. He gets hit with a cannon fire, and he's just sort of standing there with the flag with his holes in it and all that, just holding it. But in the anime, they still end up doing that scene, but it's inside, and it's not on top, so it doesn't look as cool. It doesn't look like some Spider-Man scene or something like that. But yeah, so Wapol goes to shoot at the flag at one point, and Luffy ends up jumping in front of it, and then he gets real serious and all that. But then eventually Wapol is ultimately defeated with an Gum aerial attack. I believe that's what they called it. But how it works is that Sanji used his leg as a support. Luffy stretched his arm, and then they just slingshot it, and he he just hit Wapol, and Wapol went flying out the window. And then we kind of flash back occasionally to the Zoro, Usopp, and Dalton actually ends up pulling up and helping after he got healed by Koreha down in the actual village. And we just see them fighting and all going about it. And it looks like a losing fight. Eventually, Zoro actually gets cornered. But right as this is happening up top, the Wapol gets knocked unconscious, so his Delphin ability ends its viability for the time being. And everyone there is released of their, chains of imprisonment by Wapol. And the people end up stop attacking, and everything's good. So then, after all that is concluded, Koreha ends up going back up to the castle, and the 20 doctors actually end up coming back into the village, and she ends up freeing them and y'all gotta get to work, gotta help these people and all that good stuff. And then she ends up going back up to the castle, and there, Chopper, Nami, Sanji, Luffy, they're all kind of celebrating, doing their thing. And like I said, Vivi too, because she's there, and she did actually play a very integral role. But, yeah, we're trying to see them celebrating, and eventually Luffy's like, yo, you need to join our crew. And Chopper's still a little bit apprehensive about it and all that. But then eventually he's like, you know what, I want to join. Then he goes talking with Koreha, and Koreha's kind of giving him a hard time. She's like, after all I've done for you, after I taught you medicine and all that, you're just going to leave me without actually helping me rebuild things here. And he's like, yes, I got to follow my dreams. I got to do as Hero Look would have wanted me to do. And so he ends up going with him. He ends up pulling at the little sled that they have there for getting down to the kingdom easily, and takes him back down, where they meet up with Zoro and Usopp and all of them, and they reunite, and eventually they go onto the ship. And so throughout all this, they are on the ship, and Koreha and Dalton are up top on the at the castle, and they're just kind of talking and yapping it up, and they're like talking about actual Hero Luke's actual dream and all that, about how he wanted to make cherry blossoms bloom in Drum Kingdom to solve the problems that it had and heal everyone. And so after that, we see as Koreha ends up putting the serum he made successfully before he died in a cannon, and she launches it up, and it blows cherry blossoms all around Drum Kingdom. And this is the scene where we get the Chopper like frothing at the mouth and crying, in like the anime and the manga. Now, what I did not like here about the live action, they made him barely cry about it. Like, they made him give like a couple of like scoffs. He's like nothing major though. No like like mouth agape, just bawling. That didn't happen. He cried a little bit, but like he didn't just like he does in the anime. So that was a little bit disappointing because I was kind of expecting that, but it was okay. Yeah, then they end up sailing off away from Drum Kingdom since everything is done there. Now, after this, we get a scene of Miss Allsunday, or Robin, and Sir Crocodile. Sir Crocodile, if you don't know, is Mr. Zero. He is the leader of Baroque Works, and he looks phenomenal. They got a perfect actor. I don't know what the actor's name is, but they found the perfect person to play Crocodile. Because, okay, this dude already looks a lot like Crocodile. Crocodile's costume design looks perfect. Everything looks perfect. His golden hook hand is perfect. Everything is phenomenal about Crocodile. And you know what's even better? His voice sounds like the English VA for Crocodile. Like, it's all perfect. It's phenomenal. Like, I love this casting. I was so glad we got to see a full, like, live-action casting of Crocodile before Season 4, because it was peak. It was great. And we just see, they kind of them briefly talking and all that. Also, we got a scene of Fushigi and Smoker before this, and they were kind of yapping about how they were finally going to go to Alabasta because they wanted to actually figure out and get definitive evidence of who Mr. Zero was. Because Garp had his suspicions and all that, but he couldn't actually prove them since he didn't have the evidence. But yeah, so that final scene of Robin and Crocodile, phenomenal. We get to see their bounties too. We get to see Robin's 79 million bounty poster and all that good stuff. Yeah, that is all for Season 2 of One Piece live action. That was a phenomenal season. I loved it so much. It's better than the first season. Like, the first season isn't bad at all, but like it blows it out the water. Especially the first half. Because like I said, I'm not big on Drum Kingdom, but like everything before that, phenomenal. And Drum Kingdom was phenomenal too, because it actually made me enjoy Drum Kingdom, which I didn't much do prior. Like the combination of Drum Kingdom after Alabasta in the anime literally almost made me stop watching One Piece, but then I got past it, got to Skypiea. The GOAT Skypiea! And yeah, everything was lovely. I absolutely loved my time with One Piece live action season 2. I love to see the Zoro action sequence because we got in Whiskey Peak and in Drum Island or Drum Kingdom, and everything was just really, really enjoyable. I love the costume designs, the actors. Speaking of the actors, holy smokes, they got chiseled for this. Like, oh my goodness. Okay, there's this one scene where Sanji and Luffy are shirtless at I think it's like episode 6 after they get to the top of the mountain. And Sanji is shredded. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I thought I had a good core. Bro looks like a dadgum. He looks like an anime character. He looks like it's drawn out, bro. Hey, bro, props to them. Like I said, I believe Alavita worked out a lot and lost the weight that she loses in the anime. So, yeah, props to all of them because they worked to look like their characters. But, yeah, like that, and like I said, the costume design was phenomenal. Like, all of the animal characters and stuff like that, like Mr. 13 and the Unluckies and stuff like that. Well, Mr. 13 is Unlucky, but the pair of Unluckies and Chopper, I always think they looked really good. Like, I didn't like Chopper's Beastman form, but that wasn't like CGI. I would presume it wasn't, at least, or whatever they make them appear. But yeah, like, I loved this season so much. I would recommend it to anyone if they're not an anime fan, even because like it's a story that anyone can enjoy, and I believe that like it may be even more enjoyable if you don't already have a love for it. But like, as already having a love for One Piece, it being one of my favorite properties of all time, I loved season 2 so much. I loved watching every minute of it. It kept me intrigued, even though I already knew the story. It kept me enthralled. Like, that's the thing. Even when I know a story, most of the time I grow tired of it because like I already know what I know is going to happen. I already know the twists, the turns, all of that. However, with this, it captivated me. Even though I knew everything was going to happen, it had me by the throat, and yeah, like, I just loved it. I could not praise it enough. They did phenomenal with this, and I hope they keep doing phenomenal with it. I don't know how far they'll go. I mean, it'd be cool if they went to Water 7 or Enies Lobby, some of the greatest arcs of all time in all of anime, or fiction in general. But heck, we might even get to Marineford. That would be awesome because I would love to see Thriller Bark and Skypiea. And like, I wouldn't feel like they would do a Brook cast without getting the Thriller Bark. So I think we'll at least get to Thriller Bark. But maybe we'll get to Sabaody, and maybe we'll end it at Sabaody because Sabaody is a perfect spot to end it. Like, if I would have been watching the anime at the time of Sabaody's release and there was nothing left afterwards, I would have freaked out because Sabaody, they just get all sent away. It looks like they're all dead. Like, and Luffy just breaks down. Like, that was a rough time. Like, if there wasn't anything more, I would have freaked out. I'd be like, oh, the One Piece just ended with them all dying. And then y'all just get sent off to other islands. But, yeah, I honestly don't know where they'll stop. I hope, like I said, I believe they'll go all the way to Thriller Bark. But if they go to Thriller Bark, why not go to Marineford? Because there's only 3 arcs between that and Marineford. So, well, there's 4 arcs because you have Sabaody, Amazon Lily, Impel Down, and Marineford. So, yeah, maybe they'll do that. I'd love to see a live-action Whitebeard because I love Whitebeard. But, yeah, I don't really know how they'll go. But that's all I really have to say about Deer and Loathing and Drum Kingdom, and all I really have for episode 48 of Shelf Review. So, thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.